ankle surgery this week. Tremaine Johnson is also out for the second week in a row. The Bucs told us Doug Martin would be a game-time decision. Well, their starting running back will not take the field today. And also big issues on the defensive line. Adrian Claiborne, their right end, was placed on IR this week. And their left end, Michael Johnson, is inactive today. So depth and health, a big issue for these teams. Something to keep an eye on today, Dick and Kirk.
All right, thank you very much, Christina. So injuries hit both teams hard. The Rams won the toss, and they're going to defer. And so Solomon Patton goes back deep. He's already been a threat in the return game. Gained a total of 102 yards in punt returns. And Greg Zuerlein gets this game underway. It's a low bouncing kick. And here is Patton picking it up on the hop. And Patton driving his way gets past the 20-yard line to the 23. So Josh McCown, who had a great finish to the game. He's been a career backup, making his 40th start of the year, and seemed to find his mark, Kirk, toward the end of game one.
It was just about putting drives together for Josh McCown, something that he did not do last week. He wants to work on that this week.
He's been a career backup, and Lovie Smith has tremendous confidence in him. First down on the 23. Throwing on first down and completing the pass to Brandon Myers, the tight end. And he gets about 8 yards on the play. Let's take a look at the Buccaneers offense. As Christina said, Doug Martin not playing, so Bobby Rainey is going to start. He scored a touchdown last week.
I like Anthony Collins, the left tackle. Last week he goes up against Greg Hardy. This week, Robert Quinn. The task doesn't get any easier for that left tackle position.
And for the guards as well, Logan Mankins has been banged up, but he's in there. Penalty marker is down. Rainey on the handoff, cutting upfield, will have the first down and still on his feet as he gets into Ram territory. But a penalty marker down as Bobby Rainey tackled by T.J. McDonald after picking up 24. And they may bring this one back.
Offside. Defense, number 95, line up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. First down.
So Jeff Triplett is our referee, and the Buccaneers started backward, and then they found out it was against Hayes, who was starting for Chris Long at defensive end for the Rams.
The Rams are finding out early on the quickness of Bobby Rainey, the running back, in for Doug Martin. He finds a way to just find a seam, but he's so small in stature, he finds a way to get through that offensive line.
So now on the 44-yard line, the Buccaneers in Ram territory, and here is Rainey again, and he meets the head-on hit and picks up about 4 yards on the play. They take a look at the Rams defense. So William Hayes, 29 years old, gets the call for Chris Long, who is out with ankle surgery. Good linebacking core.
Yeah, safeties. Rodney McLeod last week led the team in tackles, came up in field throughout that entire game for the Rams.
And E.J. Gaines once again. The rookie starts for Tremaine Johnson at cornerback. Second down and 6. Another penalty marker down. And the pass is incomplete. It's being run back. And it's being run back by James Laurinaitis, and the officials going with him.
James Laurinaitis, flag.
But a flag was down.
May have had offsides before the play even started.
Offside. Defense, number 90, in the neutral zone at the snap. The 5-yard penalty. Repeat, correction. That'll result in a first down.
So Michael Brockers. So the penalty bug, which bothered the Rams last week, hitting them early again.
Yeah, jumping off sides early on. But one thing that you're taught as a defensive player, regardless if the penalties is on you or not, is to finish the play. Had that not been an offsides penalty, that could have been a touchdown early for the St. Louis Rams. James Laurinaitis finishing the play.
Yeah, you don't know whether it's going to be an interception or what the penalty will be, or whether it's a fumble. So 2 penalties on the Rams, and Brockers has already been taken out. And the number 1 draft pick, Aaron Donald from the University of Pittsburgh, has replaced Brockers at defensive tackle. It'll be second down and 1. So no first down. And here is the pitch to Rainey. Rainey cutting upfield, and Rainey will be stopped short by a yard. Good play by Alec Ogletree, the outside linebacker. That will bring up 3rd down and 1, actually less than a yard.
You like the pursuit of the St. Louis Rams defense here, because you're going to have to gang tackle Bobby Rainey. He's a guy that is elusive in the open field. If you don't bring a couple guys to the tackle party, I say, Dick, if you don't bring a couple guys, he'll make one guy miss and take it the distance.
Scored a touchdown as a receiver last week. So now 3rd down and 1. And the pitch again to Rainey. And Rainey hemmed in and not going to make it. And the Rams with great pursuit. And it's Eugene Sims, backup defensive end, who knocks Rainey back for a loss on the play. But there's another flag down.
Horse collar tackle, number 97 in the defense. 15 yards, penalty, automatic 1st down.
There it is. Obvious call there, Kirk.
Obvious, something that you can't do. This is a penalty. You cannot put your hand on the back of the opposing runner's shoulder pad. That's a bad play. Look, 3 penalties already for the St. Louis Rams team. Last week, 14 penalties. Now you're already with 3. This is how you don't win football games, penalties like that.
They had the most penalties in the league last week. And by the way, the Buccaneers had the fewest. So a 1st down now at the 20. And they go to Rainey again, and Rainey is going to be stopped. He was stopped, by the way, on 3rd and 1 before that penalty, which gave the Buccaneers new life. That time, E.J. Gaines, who was a 6th-round pick out of the University of Missouri, played a good game last week in his first NFL start.
Well, remember, Brockers early on jumped off sides, but this time when he stays on side, he's able to plug up the middle. I need more plug up the middle from the St. Louis Rams front to keep Bobby Rainey plugged up inside.
And you can see Brockers back in. Came out for one play. Placed by Donald. So now 2nd and 12. And now Rainey going in motion to the left, going right. And this pass is caught by Robert Haran. And Haran getting to about the 15-yard line. Laurinaitis and Ogletree, 2 of the backers, making the stop after a 7-yard pickup.
The key a lot of times to a screen, Dick, is the outside blocking. If you get the wide receivers blocking in the screen game, such as Vincent Jackson, that's how the screens are able to hit for long yardage, long, big plays, because of the other wide receivers getting on their blocks early on.
So they sent Rainey in motion. Now Mike James is in the game. He is to the right of Josh McCown. It'll be 3rd down and 5 from the 15. McCown, and the catch is made, and a 1st down inside the 10 by Mike Evans. Janoris Jenkins defending, and the rookie who looked good, number 1 pick out of Texas A&M, gives the Buccaneers 1st and goal at the 9.
Dick, one thing I can say when you look at this offense, you get excited because they converted on 3rd down, something they didn't do last week. So this could be a big play in the game already because you've got the drive going. You're extending the drive now. They did not do that last week.
So there's Evans with the catch. And of course, the penalties on the Rams have really extended Tampa Bay's drive. And here is James again. And James, maybe a yard. So in the first 5 minutes of this game, the St. Louis Rams committing defensive penalties to give the Buccaneers drive alive. They're on the 8-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and goal. Number Chris Long, he's on injured reserve designated for return. And that would mean inactive for a minimum of 6 weeks. 2nd down and goal. James still in there. Good pickup on the pressure, and the pass caught by Jaworski Lane, the fullback, and he gets to the 5-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and goal. Good block that time by Mike James on the blitz, a 3-yard gain.
In the first half last week, the Carolina Panthers offense had the ball for 23 minutes and had that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense out there sweating in this heat. We're seeing a little bit different now with Tampa Bay's offense extending the drive, giving that defense an early rest.
And there's Lovie Smith, who has to like what he's seen so far, but he wants to see the team finish the drive with a touchdown. 3rd down and goal. And here is McCown, and McCown is going to run for it and score. That's a 12-year veteran for you. He didn't see the receivers, and he saw an opening, took advantage of it. And a 5-yard touchdown scamper for Josh McCown, and the Buccaneers don't have to wait for the fourth quarter to score today.
Vic, one of the things when Josh McCown was my quarterback in Oakland that would drive me crazy was that you have great coverage, and then he would break contain and go for a run like that. We just saw Josh McCown being smart, finding a way. If there's not a, don't throw the ball away. You find a way, get into the end zone.
And Patrick Murray, the rookie from Fordham in New York City, takes the extra point. So Josh McCown, we were told, has a lot more athletic skills than you would think. Scoring drive for Tampa Bay, 10 plays, 77 yards. And the Rams, with the 15-yard penalty on Eugene Sims, the horse collar on third down, kept it alive. There were 3 penalties, 2 accepted by the Bucs, as this kick by Michael Kanan is out of the end zone. And so the Rams get the ball for the first time in this game, trailing 7-0. Nearly 7 minutes that defense was on the field. We'll be back. Rams on the 20-yard line with their first play, and Zach Stacy gets about 7 yards before Deshaun Goldson makes the play. So Austin Davis making his first NFL start. Those were his numbers in the second half last week. Keep in mind the interception was returned for a touchdown by the Vikings.
This past week, it's his first time taking reps with the first team. Remember, all preseason, he took reps with the second and third team. Now he's finally getting comfortable with his first team offense.
Sean Hill is active. He's got the thigh injury, and so is Case Keenum, the third quarterback. And the handoff again to Stacy, and he is knocked back after getting to the line of scrimmage by Golston and Levante David. Let's take a look at the Rams. And, of course, 2 outstanding tight ends, Cook and Kendricks. That could be good for a rookie quarterback.
The quarterback loves a tight end. I think Kenny Britt and Jared Cook, those are the 2 guys I want to see today in this offense. They have to have huge games in order for this offense to be successful today.
And Davin Joseph comes back home after playing with the Bucs. He's the right guard. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Benny Cunningham, good receiver out of the backfield, is in there, and Davis getting some pressure, escapes, and the pass is caught, and it will be enough for a first down by Cunningham. Goldson on the stop, so good ad-libbing that time by the second-year quarterback Austin Davis.
One thing that Austin Davis told us is that he brings a little excitement to this offense because he's not going to sit back in the pocket and allow you to sack him. He's going to find a hole within that offensive line and extend the play. That's what he did on that 3rd down.
So a first down at the 31.
That is the first sideline warning for Tampa Bay.
So what does that mean, first sideline warning?
It means get back. The strength coach needs to tell somebody to get back. Get behind the white line.
Not Calm Lovey Smith. He's okay, right? He always is unruffled. Here's the quick pass, and it's caught by Brian Quick on the slant, and another first down out to the 43. 14-yard pickup. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Bucs defense. As Christina said, missing both of their defensive ends. So William Goldston and Daquan Bowers start there, but Gerald McCoy is the big force at tackle.
The linebacker, Levante David, trust me, Dick, we're going to call his name a lot today. He's always around the football.
Jonathan Banks starts for Mike Jenkins, who is out as well. Deep pass, and it's caught at the 40-yard line by Quick. So back-to-back passes to Quick.
Austin Davis setting his feet and delivering a strike. What we want to see early on from Austin Davis, giving him the confidence that he can get the ball down the field, but also his receivers running the right route and catching the football.
30 yards on 2 receptions, including this one, and a first down at the 40 of the Buccaneers. Rams trailing 7-0, and here is Zach Stacy, and Stacy picking up about 3 yards. Last week, Brian Quick had career highs with 7 catches and also 99 yards. And he had a career game last week, and they start featuring him early today.
46, Corey Hargey's going to have a big day today because he has to be the lead blocker for Zach Stacy, for Benny Cunningham. He's going to be leading the way for these guys. Didn't see a lot of him last week, but he needs to step up big today.
2nd down and 7. and a penalty.
Neutral zone infraction, number 93 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
That'll be against the Buccaneers, and now time for a game break. Let's join Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, we go out to Cleveland. Brian Hoyer trying to bring the Browns back. Down by 1, under 15 seconds, and the Saints blow the coverage. Andrew Hawkins sets up Billy Cundiff. 29 yards for the win. Cleveland wins it by 2, 26-24.
Well, you can't make this stuff up of what's happening in the league. And there is an end around by Tavon Austin. Austin breaks a tackle, gets inside the 20, and gets pushed inside the 15-yard line. So Austin, who had several plays in the backfield for the Rams last week, gets 18 yards on the end around, and now the Rams impressive on their drive.
Big one thing when you're an NFL player, you come in on Wednesday and you get the game plan. And the head coach say, this is who we need to stop. This is the game breaker. Well, Tavon Austin, he's the game breaker, Dick. That you give him the football, he's a threat to take it the distance every single time he touches it.
Meanwhile, Gerald McCoy has left the game, and Akeem Spence has replaced him on the defensive line. And Zach Stacy, very impressive, and he gets close to the 5-yard line, will be short of the first down by about a yard. Keep in mind, Stacy, in last year's victory for the Rams, had 104 yards against the Buccaneers. He gets 9 on this one. And there is Sean Hill, and Jeff Fisher's comment was Austin Davis will start, but don't be surprised if Sean Hill sees some action in this game. First and goal at the 5. Or second and 1, we should say. Stacy gets the first down as he drives to the 2.
Stacy, ball carrier.
So far, I like this drive of the St. Louis Rams. Been a good mix of run and pass. They've taken a couple shots down the field as far as pushing the ball in that 10 to 15-yard mark, but we're seeing what
Number
the St. Louis
61
Rams
reports as an eligible receiver.
We're seeing what the St. Louis Rams are built on. It's about physical running between the tackles, and that's what's going to help out a young Austin Davis in his first career start.
Well, the Bucs defense has been on the field more than 5 minutes, and Tim Barnes, number 61, is an extra lineman, but the drive, and Zach Stacy is in there for the touchdown. And so if the Buccaneers were able to score because of Ram defensive penalties, it's been all Ram offense on this drive. Very impressive in the 2-yard touchdown run by Stacy. And an extra point away from tying the game.
Well, sometimes it's easy if the defense doesn't get lined up. If you don't know where you're supposed to be on defense, you're giving the offense an easy chance to run the football right in. Tampa Bay not lined up, and what does it do? It costs you a touchdown.
So Zerline is on to tie the game with 3:07 to go in the first. Johnny Hecker is the holder, and the kick is good, and that ties the game at 7. So both teams who struggled scoring last week score on their first possession today. 7-7. And back here at Tampa, 7-7 the score. Zach Stacy with a touchdown, 10-play drive. Buccaneers had an 11-play drive, and the Rams with their first touchdown of the season. And Austin on an end around, but it was quick with 2 receptions, back-to-back plays for 30 yards. And the kick by Zerline will go out of the end zone, and Tampa Bay will start at the 20-yard line. So a lot of fireworks early on offensively. 7-7. Josh McCown was perfect on the first drive. And penalties. First, the offsides penalty against McCoy. But the one that really hurt was Eugene Sims on the horse collar on Rainey on a 3rd down play, and eventually the touchdown.
It keeps the drive alive. Josh McCown going into pay dirt, but if I'm the St. Louis Rams defense, if I'm James Laurinaitis, Dick, I'm grabbing my guys on the sideline and I'm preaching to them, hey, it's not about what they did, fellas. It's what we did. We can't have those mistakes. He needs to preach that to that defense so the next series they go out there and try to get a takeaway. Pay it back to your offense.
So this is the series he's talking about. First down at the 20. Here's Bobby Rainey. And Rainey, boy, he gets a few extra yards, doesn't he? Dives forward for close to 3. Hayes and Quinn combined to make the tackle.
When I see Bobby Rainey, for some reason I think of my former teammate Maurice Jones-Drew, a guy kind of built, compact, kind of strong, but you can't really see it until you're on the football field playing against him. And you say, this guy's got leg drive, he's got power, but he doesn't look it when you just look from afar.
Picked up on waivers from the Browns in October of last year and had a huge game against the Atlanta Falcons. And they go to Rainey again. He's been a workhorse in his first quarter, and why not? Close to the first down, just short of the 30-yard line. McLeod makes the tackle, and time for the game break again. Let's rejoin Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, we go to San Diego, and the defending champs down by 3 early, but then Percy Harvin takes off for 51 yards. Looked like he stepped out. The play wasn't reviewed. It's a touchdown. 7-3 Seahawks. Dick, Kirk, Christina, back to you.
Your take on that one?
Two of the most dangerous guys in the NFC West wear number 11. Tavon Austin for the St. Louis Rams and number 11, Percy Harvin for the Seattle Seahawks.
So a first down they ruled on the 30-yard line, and Rainey this time gets knocked back. His forward progress will result in him losing 1 yard on the play. And again, it's William Hayes. So Hayes with a tough assignment. That's hip surgery in the offseason, making only his 14th start. This is his 6th year in his career. Did not see any action in preseason. He was a backup for a couple of years with the Tennessee Titans and has to fill the shoes, almost impossible to do for Chris Long. Second down and 11. McCown with the empty backfield. And he'll step out of bounds. And flag goes down. Janoris Jenkins.
Holding.
And a holding penalty called
Number 73
against
of the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Anthony Collins.
Second down.
So it's, what do you do against Robert Quinn? And sometimes you just have to grab onto him. That's what Anthony Collins did.
Remember in the beginning of the football game when the lineups are rolling, I'm saying this is the matchup I want to watch. 73 Anthony Collins versus Robert Quinn, number 94 of the St. Louis Rams. Like I said, last week was Greg Hardy for Anthony Collins. This week, Robert Quinn, the NFC sack champion last year.
So now second down and 21. Ball back on the 19 of Tampa Bay. McCown out of the backfield is Rainey. Rainey breaks a tackle, and Rainey gets beyond the 30-yard line, gets to the 33. Good gain there. Sims making the stop, a pickup of 14, so they get 14 of those yards back as we wind down to about a half a minute remaining in the first quarter.
So when Bobby Rainey runs between the tackles, he reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew. But when he gets out of the pocket, and I see that 43, reminds me of Darren Sproles, now in Philadelphia. When he gets the football out in the open field, he's making a couple guys miss, and he's turning the small gains into big gains because of the vision that Bobby Rainey has.
Boy, Bobby Rainey compared to some giants of this league by my partner, Kirk Morrison. Here's McCown stepping up, has time, and the pass incomplete, but a flag goes down. Mike Evans, defended by Brandon McGee. And see what the call is as time has run down here in the first quarter.
Mike Evans at the top of his route. This is where you just have to be patient if you're McGee. You have to be patient at the top of the route. These big wide receivers of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to initiate contact. But if you're a defender, you have to stay off, wait till the football is thrown, and then drive. Because if you allow them to initiate the contact, you almost have to hold on to them because they're such big physical wide receivers.
McGee, 5th round pick last year out of the University of Miami. Played special teams exclusively against the Vikings.
With LaMarcus Joyner being out today, Brandon McGee goes to the outside in the nickel. And then you look at last week, E.J. Gaines, who started at corner, he goes into the slot when they come out with 3 wide receivers.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Eagler with contact, number 23 of the defense. Offensive pass interference, number 83. Correction, 23 of the defense. Offensive pass interference, number 83 of the offense. Those penalties offset. Repeat, third down.
And that'll do it. Vincent Jackson pushing off.
That's a tough call. The ball wasn't even thrown to
We're determining whether
Jackson.
Tampa Bay wishes to extend the quarter or not.
Now you can extend the quarter.
And Tampa Bay has elected to go to the second quarter.
And that will
is
do
the
it.
end of the first quarter.
And that is the end of the first quarter with the score. The Rams 7 and the Bucs 7. And Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Second quarter, and the stats are even just like the game, and both quarterbacks are perfect thus far, 8 for 8. And by the way, you heard Jeff Triplett say that Buccaneers could have an extended down. That means it's an untimed down. They could have had another play before the quarter, and they've elected to say, no, we'll start the second quarter. It'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 33 in a 7-7 game. Sun was out a few moments ago. Now it is overcast and threatening. Josh McCown up the middle, and the pass is caught by Mike Evans. Don't know if he had the first down.
On the last second down play, to me, that's not a penalty on Vincent Jackson. I know I'm a defender. That's not a penalty. But right here, this is a penalty right here on Mike Evans. Brandon McGee does a good job of being in position, but at the end, he just doesn't finish the way he should have. Should have stayed off, wait till the ball's thrown, then drive. Drive through the football, not drive through the man. And that's where he messed up and made a mistake. You got to call him for it.
So Evans makes the completion, and now we'll have a measurement to see whether they have the first down. Lovie Smith, now the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there you see it is a first down for the Bucs.
Yes.
So Lovie Smith, who said interceptions killed us, and if there were ever a defensive coach who really relied more on the turnover ratio in this league, he's one.
Yeah, you want to be +3. +3 meaning you want to get 3 turnovers and not give the football up. Last week, he blamed the defense just as much as the offense. Say, hey, we got to get 3 turnovers just as much as our offense gave up the ball 3 times.
First down as Mike James comes in the game as the tailback, and he gets the handoff. James trying to break the tackle as the Rams going after the ball to no avail. Well, Wednesday, be prepared for a new breed of fighter as 16 women compete for an historic UFC title. Don't miss a jaw-dropping new episode of The Ultimate Fighter. A champion will be crowned Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. No gain on James's run, 2nd and 10. McCown drills it, and it's caught wide open into Ram territory. Brandon Myers, the former New York Giant tight end, and a gain of 25 yards. And the Buccaneers now at the 36 of St. Louis.
One thing that Brandon Myers and also Luke Stocker, they're both tight ends that can go up the field. And when you have 2 guys extending up the field, Josh McCown could just choose which one that he likes and finds a guy that he depends on, which is Myers.
James is going to be knocked back for a loss of about a yard by James Laurinaitis.
It seems like Josh McCown's in a rhythm early in this football game. We didn't see it last week, but now this week, more of a rhythm. He's calm, and he walks to the huddle with the confidence. We talked to him the other day, Dick. One thing, what did he say? When he gets in that huddle, he makes sure that everyone is calm, and we're all on the same page.
One thing his teammate said, composure in the huddle.
Yeah.
And, of course, the offensive coordinator, Jeff Tedford, calling plays. He didn't last week. Interesting story with Jeff Tedford, who didn't call the plays last week. 2nd down and 10, and in stride, the pass caught by Mike Evans. So taking advantage of the #1 pick out of Texas A&M. And Mike Evans makes the reception in a gain of 9 yards.
Mike Evans' teammate the other day, Vincent Jackson, he told us this guy's young, but he uses his size. The youngest player on this football team, by the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mike Evans, he uses his size, understands how the body control of the wide receiver. It's a big catching radius that Josh McCown has throwing the football to Mike Evans.
And Vincent Jackson said, I see a lot of him in me. And a first down by Bobby Rainey back in the game, and Rainey Inside the 10, it'll be first and goal for Tampa Bay, and it was Jaworski Lane, who last week had a 54-yard run, and this time delivers a big block for Rainey, who gets 19.
When Rainey gets the football, he's fearless in between the tackles. He puts that foot in the ground, and he cuts up the field. Fearless, meaning that he doesn't care who's in his way. He's going to run somebody over if he's in his way, but if not, he finds daylight, gets to the outside.
And has averaged nearly 7 yards a carry thus far. First and goal at the 9. McCown being chased from behind. And his pass, and it is intercepted by Rodney McLeod. And McLeod with the interception ends that threat by the Buccaneers. And James Laurinaitis delighted with it. So an underrated former cornerback now playing safety, Rodney McLeod on the interception. That's the first turnover for the Rams this year, and they get it back. So following the interception, there's Gerald McCoy on the sidelines. He went to the locker room. Now he's back, and Akeem Spence is in there. So you look at a team that is missing Adrian Claiborne, Michael Johnson, and Gerald McCoy right now on the sidelines. We'll see if he comes in. The ball is at the 2-yard line. And here is Zach Stacy running it out, trying to give Austin Davis some running room, and he gets it out to the 6-yard line. Let's go down to Christina.
Yes, I've been told that Gerald McCoy is probable to return to the game, but he did go back to the locker room and he was evaluated for a hand injury. When he came back, he had that left hand taped up, but he is on the sideline, and I can tell you he does not look happy, clearly frustrated to not be out on the field.
Thank you, Christina Pink. It'll be 2nd down and 6. First NFL start for Austin Davis in his end zone, and the pass caught, and moving it out for a first down to the 14-yard line for the Rams is Brian Quick with his 3rd reception.
When we talked to Josh McCown on Friday, the one thing that he said was, I have to stay focused. I have to not do too much. And that right there was Josh McCown trying to do too much. If it's not there, throw the football away. Save the possession, save points.
Meanwhile, the 7-yard pass to Quick and a first down. Tavon Austin now goes into the slot to the right for the Rams. It's an empty backfield for Davis. Here comes the pressure, and Davis's pass, and it is caught at the 19 by Jared Cook. Mark Barron, the strong safety all over him, but Cook holds on and gets 6 yards. And Cook, of course, the leading receiver for the Rams last year in catches, yards, and he had 5 touchdowns as well.
Dick always say that the tight end is the quarterback's best friend. You look at some of the tight end quarterback combinations. I think of Tony Romo and Jason Witten. Jared Cook has to be Austin Davis's Jason Witten today.
Tavon Austin now the tailback on 2nd down and 4. And he gets the call, and Austin gets tripped up in a good defensive play made by Mason Foster, the middle linebacker. So it's time for a game break. Here's Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, and I know Kirk was just asking for a nice solid tight end for a quarterback, right? Well, how about J.J. Watt? That's right, Ryan Fitzpatrick. You throw it to that $100 million man. 7-0 Houston over Oakland, guys.
Boy, I always like those big guys to be wide open. No one accounts for them, and they catch the touchdown.
The Houston Texans are getting their money's worth from Mr. Watt.
Meanwhile, the injured player is Mason Foster, who made the tackle and grabbed his shoulder. So he's down, and we'll take a timeout. Chance of thunderstorms, and look at the ominous cloud. 3rd down and 1. Austin Davis has been quite poised thus far against this tough defense. Davis's quick pass, and it's incomplete. Alteron Vernon was the closest to it. So 4th down coming up, and the Rams will kick it away.
As a young quarterback, you want to have audibles in your back pocket, but you got to make sure that everybody gets the audible. Austin Davis talking to the offensive line and the receivers to the left. But I'm not sure that Brian Quick on the outside got the audible. Miscommunication on the outside.
Johnny Hecker kicking, and Solomon Patton with the fair catch at the 24, and there's a penalty flag. Good kick that time by Hecker, one of the best, 54 yards, and no return. And let's see whether the Buccaneers are going to have to be backed up more.
During the kick, holding, number 26 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
So that's Creston Butler, who played with Buffalo and San Diego in his 5th year. And that's going to move them back. Timeout. There's Austin Davis, who's completed 5 of 6 for 47 yards. One turnover, the interception by the Rams, and now the Buccaneers on the 15, first down. Bobby Rainey hit by Jolon Dunbar and knocked back. So it's 7-7 midway through the second quarter. And Kirk, are you surprised that we had good drives on both teams against these good defenses?
I think me and you talked about it before, that last week both these teams couldn't convert on third down. And what have we seen today? 4 for 4 by Tampa Bay and 1 of 2 so far for St. Louis. So the conversions on third down have impressed me so far this ball game.
People should never say what happened last week will happen this week. It doesn't happen that way. Second down and 11. And here is McCown rolling out. And they're going to say it's a completed catch by Vincent Jackson. So here's how the quarterbacks have done so far. They haven't thrown for a lot of yards. We haven't seen any quarterback take shots. And McCown throwing the 1 interception in the game, and he scored on a rushing touchdown.
I think both quarterbacks have been efficient. They haven't pushed the ball down the field. The one mistake you mentioned from Josh McCown, but everything's been all timing. And wide receivers running their routes, but quarterbacks putting the ball where it needs to be.
Third down and 4, and here comes the blitz. McCown in trouble, and down he goes. You could see it coming from the outside, both sides, and Eugene Sims coming in to make the play, and a loss of 3.
Dick, you may call that a negative play for Tampa Bay. I call that a positive play for the Buccaneers. Last week, Josh McCown would try to throw that football, and that's how he got the interception last week against Carolina. This time, reads that the blitz is there, the rush is there, touch the football, lets his defense go back on the field from the punt.
Michael Kanan's punt to Tavon Austin at the 28. Austin trying to find room, and he is tripped up, and a good special teams play by Dane Fletcher, the former Patriot. Timeout. It'll be the Rams ball.
Dick, Kirk, we have an injury update on the Buccaneers. Mason Foster, middle linebacker, retreated to the locker room with a shoulder injury, and Gerald McCoy still probable. He's dealing with a hand injury, though he's not out there on the field coaching up that defense.
All right, Christina, thank you very much. And good pursuit by Alteron Burner on Benny Cunningham's run, and a 3-yard loss on the play. So injuries which loomed large when we started still plaguing both teams, especially right now the Buccaneers with McCoy out of there. One of the best in the league. So you got Claiborne, McCoy, and Johnson not in the front 4 for Tampa Bay. It kind of really messes up Lovie Smith's defense.
Yeah, I expect a lot of stunts and twists by that new defensive front. Guys understanding their responsibilities, helping out the linebacker.
Second down and 13. Here's Davis, pumps once and threads the needle, and the ball is picked off. Tavon Austin, the intended receiver. And it's Leonard Johnson. And let's see, there's an injured player, and let's see if they rule the pass incomplete. First of all, Tavon Austin is injured at the 37-yard line, and it was Leonard Johnson taking the ball away, but it will be ruled an incomplete pass. But the Rams' concern right now is with Tavon Austin. Johnson's not ready to give up the football yet.
No, not at all. You want to make sure, wait till the referee tells what has happened. I talked about earlier, you got to finish the play regardless of what is being played on the football field.
And it was Mark Barron, the strong safety and a hard hitter he is, that really put the crunching hit on Austin to shake him up.
Well, Tavon Austin, we see him on the ground right here. This is, when you look at it, does he have possession? Does he have possession? No, he does not have possession of the football. And you see Mark Barron, the ferocious hitter from that secondary, coming in, laying the big lick on Tavon Austin.
So an incomplete pass there. And you're absolutely right about Leonard Johnson. You know, ask questions later. Just go ahead and take it to the house and see what happens.
But one thing is, as a defender in this league, I can tell you this, though, Dick. Every play, I want to make sure I have a circle around Tavon Austin. I want to know where he's at every single play. Now, if he's hurt, he goes out of the football game. If I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer defender, I'm saying he's out of the game. That means the tricks, the game breaker, the game changer. He's out of the game. Let's keep everything in front of us, guys. Play our base stuff, and we should be fine.
Another story here is it's gotten darker and darker here, and there is the radar showing the front heading this way. We had rains before the game, but this really looks ominous right now. Thunderstorms were in the forecast for later this afternoon and early this evening. Austin is up, which is good news for the Rams, as if they haven't suffered enough injuries on both sides of the ball so far this year. Right now, let's send it down for an update with Christina Pink.
Well, Dick, the hits keep on coming to this Bucs defensive line. Gerald McCoy has officially been ruled out. He will not be returning. He has a hand issue, but as I mentioned earlier, front and center in that defensive huddle, coaching up his teammates.
Wow, what a blow it is for the Buccaneers.
Play clock operator.
Third down and 13.
Please start my...
Jeff Triplett talking to the clock operator to make sure that the play clock is in order. And now they're checking the clock, 6:03 to go, and of course the officials
We're
also
temporarily suspending the game because of lightning.
And lightning in the
Teams will
area.
leave the field.
Suspension. You could see Lovie Smith saying, just get inside.
Your attention, please, ladies
So
and gentlemen.
Jeff Fisher getting his team off the field in a hurry, as Lovie Smith has done with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the score tied 7-7, 6:03 to go in the second quarter. Lightning is a threat. We are suspending play, and right now let's send it out to our Los Angeles studios in Kurt Menefee. All right, Kirk, thank you very much. And the players out on the field, they have a 10-minute loosening up session after they came out, and the rain is just about stopped. There is the radar. And notice the red mark on the bottom. That's the lightning part that's avoiding where we are right now here at the stadium. And so it looks like the worst has cleared to this point anyway. You never know when we get more thunderstorms. And the score is tied at 7-7. And the Rams, of course, will have the ball when we resume. They'll be on their 25-yard line. Dick Stockton along with Kirk Morrison, as you know. And Kirk, have you been involved in a game that was suspended before?
Yeah, luckily for me, it was during the preseason, though. And I'm playing against the Miami Dolphins. I go inside, and my body gets cold. Then I go back out, warm up. The 10-minute warm-up doesn't work for me. I go out, try to tackle Ricky Williams. I pull my quad muscle, and now I'm out 2 weeks. Like I said, luckily it was the preseason. Hopefully these guys got enough of that warming up before this restart, because I know myself, I got a little injured there.
You know, we have halftime coming in 6 minutes and 3 seconds, and they're going to have to confer again as we look at the game summary. A 51-minute weather delay, and Josh McCown actually scored first. Tampa Bay a 5-yard run to give the Bucs a 7-0 lead on their first possession, and then it was, Zach Stacy for St. Louis scoring the touchdown. And on their first possession. And as you know, it's the first career start for Austin Davis. Sean Hill came out and tried his injured quad before the game to no avail. So we're all tied 7-7 in this game with 6:03 to go. And the Rams will have a 3rd down and 13 on their 25. Both of these teams 0-1, both really embarrassed at last week's losses. One of these teams turning it around today. Which one will it be? 3rd and 13, and the handoff to Benny Cunningham. And Cunningham head down, Bulls his way for a good gain out to the 35-yard line. Picks up 10 yards, shy of the first down by 3. And so it's 4th down, and Johnny Hecker will come in to punt for the Rams. So what is it like for a player, of course, to be in the locker room for nearly an hour and then have to come out and play after 10 minutes.
You just want to get back out there as soon as possible. I mean, the body is starting to, you want to get back warm again. You want to get that feeling like you had in the beginning of the game.
Solomon Patton bobbles the return, mumps it, and then picks it up. And he has it on the 19-yard line. We've had injuries in this game, and we had a lot coming into this game. Let's check in with Christina Pink.
Well, Dick, the latest is on Rams receiver Tavon Austin. Prior to the rain delay, he hurt his right knee, had it evaluated during that break. I have officially been told he is questionable, but Dick, it does not look good. They did put some ice on that right knee. When the players came out to warm up after the delay, he did not come out to the field and warm up with the guy's demeanor. He is very down right now. The coaches have come over and gave him some hugs. Right now, he is still on the bench and not out there with the team.
All right, Christina, thank you. This is certainly a war of attrition going on right now. The pitch to Bobby Rainey, and Rainey off the right side. Not much there, and Rainey, of course, starting for the injured Doug Martin, who couldn't go. James Laurinaitis and Joe Lon Dunbar hold Rainey to a 1-yard gain. The Buccaneers have outgained the Rams 141-103 and have a 4-yard edge in rushing yards. That's what Rainey has done so far. Not bad at nearly 5.5 a clip.
No, not at all. He's shown speed. He's shown power. He's shown his ability to find the hole and burst right through it.
2nd down and 9. And again, they go to Rainey, and Rainey breaks a couple of tackles and breaks 2 more. He'll be short of the first down by 2.5 yards. So Ram penalties, which hurt them last week, affected them in the first scoring drive by the Buccaneers, and their missed tackles, which was another problem for them. Bob's up once again here as Rainey gets 7 yards.
If I'm on the St. Louis Rams, I get excited when I see weather like this. We call this 9-on-7, meaning that this is all about running the football. If you're Tampa Bay, if you're on the St. Louis Rams defense, buckle those chin straps because you know what Tampa wants to do. They want to run the football. Just expect it.
3rd down and 2. Josh McCown out of the shotgun, and he flips it to Rainey going left. And the Rams are there. That's exactly what they would go doing. And Robert Quinn, the defensive end, is there to make the stop. Injury is such a key part of this game. And today, affecting Tampa Bay as much as the Rams.
The one thing you like about Robert Quinn, his get-off when he's rushing the passer. But if you want to run the football at him, the get-off, he disrupts the play. Robert Quinn, one of the best. Just got paid big time yesterday. That's why he makes big time plays.
Boy, 4-year extension, good till 2019, and the kick is blocked. Michael Kanan's kick is blocked. And so the Rams coming on, and the block kick, the ball at the 28, and it was T.J. McDonald, the strong safety for Jeff Fisher's club, who got a piece of it. So the Rams will have ideal field position here inside the 30.
T.J. McDonald takes the up and under move.
The ball was blocked, caught by the kicking team at the line of scrimmage. Therefore, he can't advance the football. He did not make the line to gain. It'll be 1st and 10, St. Louis.
Rams will take it on the 29-yard line of Tampa Bay.
Had the ball gone past the first down marker, it would have been a first down for Tampa Bay. But because they were stopped behind the first down marker, St. Louis recovers the football. And now they have a set up a 1st and 10. But a good job by T.J. McDonald, the up and under move on the punt team.
There you see the first 3 possessions by the Rams. Touchdown with a 10-play drive, and they punted the last 2 times out. First down on the 28. Chance for the Rams here. And the handoff to Zach Stacy, and Stacy, who scored a touchdown, picking up about 5 yards on the play. Well, there's a brand new show coming to Fox that critics are raving about. You don't want to miss Red Band Society this Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on Fox. So an opportunity for the Rams. And there is Stacy breaking a tackle and getting the first down. Hard runner is Stacy, who missed 1,000 yards last year. by only 24 yards. And with nearly 2.5 to go, a gain of 8.
This is a good job by Zach Stacy. What he does, he was considered a short yardage expert in college, a guy that can get you the tough yards, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. But he's shown now the ability to explode through the hole and finish. You see that's finishing right there. Legs moving. That's what Jeff Fisher likes to see by Zach Stacy with the football in his hands.
He gets a breather now, and Benny Cunningham takes his place in the quick pass and the quick tackle to Brian Quick as we wind down to the 2-minute warning. So Quick, with his 3rd reception of the game, gets 5 yards. So the St. Louis Rams, coming out after nearly an hour of lightning suspension, threaten. Today's game on Fox is sponsored by iTunes. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. That's Kenny Britt, who has yet to catch a pass this season. He's a threat. Instead, they're going to run the ball. Benny Cunningham. And Cunningham stopped for no gain by Levante David.
If I'm Brian Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams offense, Kenny Britt has not touched the football. He didn't touch the football last week. He hasn't touched the football today. Find a way to get your playmakers the football, especially down here in the red zone. He's a big target wide receiver. Take a shot.
What does it mean without Tavon Austin out there?
It's tough because that's your game changer. When he's not on the football field, I'm a defender. I'm saying I don't have to worry about the reverses and the screens.
There's Britt lining up to the right. 3rd down and 5, and the Rams call a timeout. Their first timeout of the first half. Austin Davis so far has completed 6 of 8. Brian Schottenheimer running things, and it looks like other than a 20-plus yard pass to Quick, they've kept it conservative.
Very conservative, and almost too conservative. I know you got your young quarterback in the rhythm, but you know what? Let's take the reins off a little bit. Take the reins. Let him go out and be Austin Davis.
Want to remind you, coming up, it's the Visa Halftime Report with Kurt, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Shocker in Cleveland. RG3 injured. And the Redskins get their backup in there. Kenny Britt lined up as a wide receiver. 3rd down and 5. There he is. And bad snap, and covering up is Austin Davis. And it'll be 4th down, and the Rams will send their field goal team on. So they had a golden opportunity, Kirk Morrison, to get into the end zone and couldn't do it.
That's something that just cannot happen. That's a bad snap in a crucial situation. That's wasted points. You cost your team right there the opportunity to score a touchdown. Now you have to go for the field goal. Unacceptable right there. Unacceptable by the St. Louis Rams offense.
Zerline 2 for 3 with 56 and 46-yard field goals last week. Missed the 50. This will be from 36 yards with under a minute remaining in the first half. And Zerline's kick is no good. And a timeout was called.
Timeout.
Right before.
Prior to the snap. St. Louis.
The Rams called a timeout right before the snap. And so now 1 timeout left for St. Louis, and that was kind of weird.
Maybe Jeff Fisher saw something we didn't see. Definitely, he's counting out something. I think he realized that he wanted that clock to go down a little bit. Let the clock bleed. Do not give Tampa Bay enough time, because they still have timeouts remaining in this half. Don't give them enough time to get down the field. With 3 timeouts that Tampa Bay does have, allow them time to get down the field and possibly go for a field goal right before the half.
Kick looked like a little right of the upright. In any event, I guess he's not really worried about Zerline, who's one of the best kickers in the league. So again, with 1 timeout left, this will be, again, the 36-yard field goal, looking to give the Rams the lead. And this kick is good. And so with 39 seconds remaining in the first half, the Rams, who were trailing 7-0, have taken now a 10-7 lead. We'll be back to Tampa, where it has started to drizzle a little bit once again. 10-7 the score, and Lovie Smith trying to win his first game as head coach of the Buccaneers. Solomon Patton is in the end zone, and Greg Zuerlein kicking off with 39 seconds remaining here in the first half. So injuries a big factor here. Gerald McCoy injured a hand. He won't be back. And their middle linebacker, Mason Foster, with a shoulder injury. And Tavon Austin not returning either with a right knee problem. And here is Patton running it out from the end zone. And Patton juking his way, gets to the 20 with 33 seconds to go. And all 3 timeouts left for the Buccaneers. Well, we're approaching halftime. And to give us a preview of what we're going to see, let's join Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Kirk Cousins leads Washington in a blowout win. Brian Hoyer and the Browns in a big-time upset over the Saints. And the Lions couldn't play kryptonite to Cam Newton in Carolina. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime.
All right, Kirk, thank you very much. And so McCown, who's 9 of 10 for 85 yards and has thrown an interception, which has not hurt Tampa Bay, from the 20-yard line, being rushed from behind, and he flips it off to Bobby Rainey. And Rainey is knocked out of bounds by Laurinaitis. Good pressure by Robert Quinn. And another flag goes down at the 12-yard line.
They're trying to sort this thing out because you want to start with a screen pass to start your 2-minute drill, but St. Louis Rams do a good job of reading the screen and forcing it out of bounds.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense. That foul occurred out of bounds after the play is over. 15 yards, penalty, automatic first down.
Now that's the second horse collar penalty against the Rams.
St. Louis Rams right here on defense. Well, look, Robert Quinn on a stunt. This is something where they try to use him to free him up on a guard. One-on-one with the guard and Robert Quinn. I mean, that's a mismatch if you ask me. Robert Quinn getting to the quarterback. Unfortunately, a penalty at the end of the play.
23 seconds remain. Eugene Sims had a horse collar, and that resulted in a first down. On a third down play, Rams had held the Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay ended up getting a touchdown out of it. Here is McCown getting a big rush, and his pass is out of bounds, intended for Vincent Jackson. So now 17 seconds remaining, and Robert Quinn putting great pressure on. So Anthony Collins, the former Bengal, bearing the brunt.
I think the St. Louis Rams think they have something going here, Dick, where they're slanting Robert Quinn from his defensive end position. They're slanting him down right on the top of Logan Mankins, the guard for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's beat them the last 2 plays.
Lovie Smith, normally conservative, though. Looks like he's not ready just to sit on it the rest of the way. Here's Bobby Rainey with the run. And Rainey finally gets knocked down at the 40-yard line with 10 seconds to go. And they're letting that clock run down. They get to the 40-yard line. An 8-yard pickup by Rainey, who is averaging nearly 5 yards a carry. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The Rams 10 and the Buccaneers 7. We go now to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report, which starts now. And our score 10-7. The Rams leading the Bucs, getting ready for the start of the third quarter. Now it's time for our Nissan performance that excites. The Rams defense showing up, and special teams as well, with a sack, an interception, and a blocked punt. And of course, intermission, we saw Derek Brooks. You were a linebacker. You were on the field for Brooks' last game.
His last game, I'm talking to Derek Brooks after the game's over. My teammate rushes in and say, "Hey, Mr. Brooks, can I have your jersey?" The nice guy that Derek Brooks is takes the jersey off his back, gives it to my teammate. I'll walk away from that knowing this, Dick. I could have had Derek Brooks' jersey the last game. His last game, I could have had his jersey.
You got to be quicker than that.
I got to be quicker.
You got to be quicker. What about this game as we start the third quarter?
It's been an evenly matched game so far. I mean, both quarterbacks have played efficient. It's just the mistakes. You had the botched snap by the St. Louis Rams, and then you had the interception by Josh McCown in the red zone. 2 things that just can't happen. That's where I think you look at this football game, those mistakes have cost both teams points.
Well, the Rams, who won the toss, deferred, and the Bucs had the ball first, and they scored in their first possession. So right now, the Rams will have the ball, and Michael Kanan will be kicking, and Chris Gibbons will be back. Tavon Austin, of course, with a right knee injury, not returning, and the Rams will start from the 20-yard line as we send it down to Christina Pink.
Thank you, Dick. I spoke to both coaches at halftime. Asked Lovie Smith, how are they managing with all the injuries on defense? He said, normally I dress 7 linemen. I dressed 8 today, so we're doing okay, but we are missing the face of the franchise. That, of course, is Gerald McCoy, but he did say defensively, I thought we played well, looking for Josh McCown and the guys to keep plugging away here in the second half. Jeff Fisher seemed to be happy with the play of his young quarterback in his first NFL start. He told me Austin Davis has made some good throws, he's played well, and he's managed this game.
All right, Christina, thank you. Davis 6 of 8 for 52 yards, and he has managed the game. Longest completion was 16 yards, but the Rams have the lead by 3. And rolling out and completing the pass underneath to Lance Kendricks, and a gain of 5 yards as we take a look at the first half numbers.
I think that stat right there is glaring to me, Dick. When you see that one turnover, that could have been points for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their own red zone, and you get an interception, that's points taken off the board.
Austin Davis, who broke most of Brett Favre's records at Southern Mississippi, which is an eyebrow raiser for sure. On the rollout, 2nd down and 5 on the play action, and the pass is caught. And it is complete, and a first down out to the 40, and a flag back behind the line of scrimmage as Chris Gibbons makes the grab for 15, pending the call by Jeff Triplett.
Offside defense. Right defensive end lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined, resulting in the play
So they'll take the 15-yard penalty. Time for a game break, and let's check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, Antonio Gates has 3 receiving touchdowns for San Diego, but they can't seem to separate from Seattle. Marshawn Lynch's 14-yard score keeps it within a touchdown, 27-21, Chargers in front. Dick, Kurt?
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. So the Seahawks don't go away on this road game, hanging in there. First down at the 40. And the handoff to Stacy. Zach Stacy picking up 1.5 yards. He has averaged 4 yards per carry. His longest run was 9. They'll miss Tavon Austin, who had an 18-yard run on an end around before he got hurt.
The first 2 plays of this drive, though, Dick, Brian Schottenheimer getting Austin Davis on the move, getting him out of the pocket, couple bootlegs early on, letting him buy some time to get the ball down the field to the wide receivers. This is what I think the game plan is going to be for Austin Davis, getting him on the move where he feels comfortable.
And Chris Gibbons lining up in the backfield now, split to the left, empty backfield with 5 receivers to defend. 2nd down and 8, getting hit, and the pass is caught by Austin Pettis as he goes out of bounds with a first down. So the second-year quarterback Austin Davis hanging in there against the pressure at a 13-yard completion. Good pressure by Larry English here.
When you see a quarterback sort of grow up in front of you, this is what you notice. You notice a guy staying in the pocket, delivering the football. He understands that this route's going to take some time to develop. You stay in there, deliver a strike. Austin Pettis, a guy who didn't catch a pass last week, does a good job in catching the pass and getting out of bounds.
13-yard gain and a first down on the 45 of Tampa Bay. And Stacy fumbles and is picked up by the Buccaneers. And it's going to be Dashawn Golson, the free safety, on the big bounce, gets it back, and the Rams turn it over. So the Rams looking very impressive until the fumble by Stacy here.
Zach Stacy been a guy that you could depend on as far as holding the football, but the ball bounces out. A turnover created by the Tampa Bay defense. We talked with Lovie Smith this week. One thing that he said was last week, hey, our offense gave it up 3 times, but defense, we didn't get it any time.
No.
So what did you do today? The defense finally gets a turnover, helps setting this offense back up.
Dashawn Golson with the recovery off the foot of Scott Solomon, kind of a freak play, but it's a turnover nonetheless. And now on the 40-yard line of the Buccaneers, Josh McCown goes back to work, and he completes the pass to Vincent Jackson, and that's his first catch of the game.
Zach Stacy puts the football in his hands, but it's actually knocked out by a leg. the leg of Scott Solomon. So sometimes as a runner, you don't see that leg coming out of nowhere. So I think it took Zach Stacy by surprise, fumbled the football. Usually when you see the hit coming, you can curl up into a ball, but you don't see that foot flying comes out of nowhere.
Can't blame him. 2nd down and 4, and the quick pass out to the right is caught, and Vincent Jackson, who hadn't caught a pass, catches 2 in a row. E.J. Gaines brings him down, and a 20-yard pickup. Second longest completion of the game so far for Josh McCown.
This is what we're seeing right now from Tampa Bay. Sort of what we saw last week, where they get into this no huddle, they get into this rhythm, and they get to the line of scrimmage and they're calling plays, but it's timing routes with Vincent Jackson.
First down on the 36. Rainey. Remember, Rainey is starting in place of the injured Doug Martin, who's had a knee problem. They had hoped he would play today. William Hayes makes the tackle and a 1-yard pickup.
I look for Tampa Bay to look for the tight end here. They haven't looked for tight end Brandon Myers. He's been a guy that I think you look at Brandon Myers right here, he's going to be a big factor down here. Once they get into this high red zone, a guy that you can throw the football to.
What a 24-yard pass, the longest of the game for Tampa Bay. Here comes pressure on McCown. He gets hit as he throws. Jackson makes the catch, stays in bounds, and gets a few extra yards to boot. What a play by Vincent Jackson.
Vincent Jackson, a guy who I played against a long time, my Oakland Raider days when he was a San Diego Charger, Dick. Understand that that's good coverage right there. That's amazing coverage by E.J. Gaines, but what happens? That's just a ball that only Vincent Jackson can get. At 6'5", that's what he does.
And a first down on the 15. Here's Rainey. Rainey gets by one defender, and Janoris Jenkins upends him, and so he gets 4 yards on the play. Vincent Jackson, who's 6'5", and was telling us on Friday, he says, I've looked at a lot of film, I have size, but I want to look like I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds. He wants to look smaller when people see him in the film.
Remember, he said being tall means I have to work on my leverage, but he didn't need leverage right there. You just throw the football up and let him go get it, Dick.
So it's 2nd and 6, ball on the 11-yard line. Bucs trying to take advantage of the Rams turnover. Rainey charges up the middle and gets down to the 1-yard line. T.J. McDonald saves the touchdown there, but it'll be 1st and goal for the Bucs with 9.5 to play in the 3rd.
Logan Mankins a guard pull on this last play. Watch Logan Mankins right here. Logan Mankins a pull.
And here's the handoff on the bootleg. Touchdown for Josh McCown. And a flag is down. Penalty flag down right at the goal line. So the hurry up by the
offside defense. Number 94.
It's going to be declined by the Buccaneers.
Decline resulted in play of touchdown.
Jeff Tedford calling the plays for the first time this season, and we'll tell you that story as we move along. But the 1-yard play on the bootleg by Josh McCown. 2nd touchdown of the game for the Bucs quarterback, and it gives them the lead.
If you're St. Louis, it's the one guy that you have to account for now, is the quarterback. Well, you see the receivers, the tight end, but Josh McCown's ability to run the football gets the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a score.
Patrick Murray, who has yet to try a field goal, rookie, but he has converted all of the extra points required, and the Buccaneers have taken a 14-10 lead, capping a 7-play, 60-yard drive, and it's McCown with his 2nd touchdown of the game. And we're back in Tampa, and you're looking at the veteran Logan Mankins, and a big acquisition from the New England Patriots, the 9-year veteran, and very key on that 60-yard drive.
If you want to have a fearless runner that runs inside like Bobby Rainey, you need a fearless guard. That's why they traded for Logan Mankins, to lead the way like he did on that last drive. A good job by Logan getting all the way down in there.
Chris Gibbons from the 2. And Gibbons is stopped inside the 15-yard line. Good special teams play. Brandon Dixon, former Jet, making the play. And right now the Bucs are inspired. Well, the Buccaneers taking advantage of the Ram turnover to take the lead here. And now Austin Davis will start from the 15. He's completed 9 of 11. Stacy with 42 yards rushing. Quick has been the receiving leader for the second straight week. First down from the 15. Austin Davis has no chance. And coming in untouched is Clinton McDonald, the former Seahawk. And a loss of 10 yards.
I talked to Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line coach Joe Cullen. One thing he tells me about Clinton McDonald, we needed him. We needed a guy with championship experience, and that's what Clinton McDonald brings from the Seattle Seahawks. Championship experience and swagger to that defensive line to go along with Gerald McCoy.
So they don't have Claiborne, they don't have Johnson, they don't have McCoy. Clinton McDonald, the only other starter, gets the sack here. And it's second down and 20 from the 5-yard line. And collision at the line. And the penalty.
Encroachment. Number 97 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So encroachment called against Akeem Spence, who replaced Gerald McCoy, who was out of the game with a hand injury. So the Rams get some of it back. It'll be second down and 15 now from the 10. So what does Lovie Smith do defensively when you have a team in this position?
Well, backed up, you know, when the St. Louis Rams are backed up, the crowd's going to get loud. The communication on that defense has to be there right now.
Second and 15, and here comes the pressure again on Davis. Steps up, and this pass flag is down. And let's see if he remained in bounds, the receiver. It was Jared Cook, and he did, but there's a flag on the play. Good pass, a good sideline pass.
Contact. Number 38 of the defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
And Deshaun Goldson, who recovered the fumble to give Tampa Bay the ball when they scored, commits the foul.
Yeah, just trying to get over the top. Deshaun Goldson makes contact with Kenny Britt, but the pass by Austin Davis sets his feet, throws it to Jared Cook. The only place that Jared Cook can make a play on that football, keeps it away from the defense.
17-yard gain and a first down out to the 32. So Davis gets him out of trouble. Play action pass, and the pass underneath crossing pattern is complete to Brian Quick. NFL Week 2 continues with Sunday Night Football tonight at 8:30 Eastern on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN.
Positive drive right here for St. Louis. You start deep in your own territory, then you get a first down. Now you're starting to get into a rhythm real quick. You're seeing the confidence of Austin Davis in this drive right now.
And Kirk, they started from the 15, or the penalty back to the 5, and they got it out to the 36 now. And here is Stacy turning the corner on the left side, and Stacy will have a first down out to the 47-yard line, where Deshaun Goldson, the free safety, is there to make the play. And a gain of 12 yards. So pretty good work done by Austin Davis and the Rams offense since they were backed up to their own 5.
Throwing in an extra wrinkle right there, Brian Schottenheimer. You've been straight downhill drive, straight downhill running with your running back, Zach Stacy. Now a little flick play keeps the defense honest. Now you just can't key in on runs up the middle. You got to think of something outside now.
Rushing yardage just about even. And here is Stacy. Stacy breaking a couple of tackles and brings it out into Tampa Bay territory to the 46, where Mark Barron making the tackle. And so Stacy now with 6 yards has 60 yards rushing, averaging over 4.5 per clip.
I think last week I was disappointed, Dick, in the offensive line of the St. Louis Rams. I felt that the offensive line didn't get to the second level. I think the Minnesota Vikings came with a bit more aggressive than this offensive line, but totally different today. They seem like they've got to the second level and created some space for Zach Stacy.
No question about it. Now they're in a 2nd and 4 at the Bucs 46, and here is Benny Cunningham. And nothing doing there. And Levante David was there. Talk about Levante David. We haven't mentioned his name much today, but he idolizes Derek Brooks, has met with him, and is rated by his head coach as maybe a complete outside backer, as you'll find.
Well, I thought we would call his name more because he's always by the football. When I turn the tape on and I watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, he's always around the football.
And we still have a lot of time left for him to be around the football, Kirk. 3rd down and 4. Fans looking for a Buccaneers stop. And the pass is caught for the first down by Austin Pettis. And for a game break, let's check in again with Kurt Menefee.
For that 21-3 Jets lead at Lambeau's all gone. Randall Cobb, his second touchdown of the game. Packers take the lead for the first time today, 24-21 with 21 unanswered points. Dick and Kirk.
All right, Kurt, trying to come back from that opening game loss to Seattle. Now with the lead of the Packers, first down at the 39, play action, good protection, and this pass is incomplete, overthrown. The intended receiver was Chris Gibbons, and Alteron Burner was the closest defender.
I think that's the first pass I didn't like from Austin Davis. I think that one sailed on him a little bit. Everything else has been on the money, right on the numbers. This time he doesn't set his feet. He sees the rush, and that ball sailed him. Those are the plays where the defensive back picks those passes off. I think Austin Davis wishes he could have that last pass back.
Pretty good percentage, 12 of 15, and his longest completion, 22 yards to Cook on this possession. Second down and 10. Davis, and overthrows Cunningham, who was covered by Levante David.
But you're seeing Austin Davis make his reads, though. You saw he went to the first read, it wasn't there. He goes to the second read, it's not there. And then he tries to throw it to the back, and he gets the ball out of bounds. That's a good job by the quarterback going through his progression.
It's amazing because here are the Rams, as we take a look at, again, Davis checking it and checking off and throwing, is that he is really the third-string quarterback going because Sam Bradford out with the torn ACL, Sean Hill unable to play with the thigh injury, and now Davis. So Rams hanging in there, trailing 14-10, but a third down and 10. And there's a throw that's caught at the 22, and it'll be a first down, a completion to Kenny Britt. So they finally get it to Britt. And a long pass play to the 22-yard line, 17 yards from Austin Davis.
Well, you remember the play before, he didn't have enough protection. This time, Brian Schottenheimer, he keeps the back end, he keeps the tight end. What does that do? Gives Austin Davis more time to steady his feet and throw a strike for a first down.
From the 22, first down, 4 minutes to go in the third. And the run inside the 20 by Zach Stacy. Scott Solomon on the tackle. Let's check in again with Christina Pink.
Well, Dick, injury update. Mason Foster's day is done. He has officially been ruled out with that shoulder injury.
Tell you what, you ought to work as a nurse, Christina, because you've been giving more medical reports than I've ever heard anyone give. So Dane Fletcher, the former Patriot, replaces Foster as the middle linebacker. Second down and 7, play action again. And the pass caught and a great tackle made. And Harkey is tackled by Goldson. And Harkey gets up a little limber there.
That's one of those plays where if you're a defender, you know that the guy catching the football does not see you and does not feel you. And Deshaun Goldson, who's been a guy who's been known to hit high, goes low right there. Now, definitely, I know Harkey's feeling that one. Usually, Deshaun Goldson tackles a guy up high, but this time goes low. You don't want to see that in the NFL, but that's a tough one for Mr. Harkey. Right on the knee.
2-yard gain. Third down and 5, and Harkey shaken up. We're going to work on him. 3rd and 5 for the Rams on the Bucs 17, with the Bucs leading by 4. Davis charging up the middle, and the pass unable to hold on as Pettis bobbled it. And Austin Davis had to get rid of it because he faced great pressure straight up the middle by Dane Fletcher, who just replaced Foster when he got hurt a few moments ago.
Austin Davis shaking his head because he knows he delivered the football on time. Austin Pettis has to pay that off. He's got to make that catch. That's frustrating from a quarterback because he says, I did my job. Now I need to depend on my guys to do their job.
Now Greg Zuerlein will attempt a 35-yard field goal to bring perhaps the Rams to within 1. And the kick by Zuerlein is good. And so with 2 minutes 41 seconds remaining, here in this third quarter. Austin Davis leading the Rams, who trail the Bucs by a point. And welcome back to Tampa. We had a 51-minute delay because of lightning. With 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, there's the scoring drive, 68 yards. They were pushed back to their 5, and Zerline with a field goal, bringing the Rams to within 1 point. Solomon Patton out to the 35. Chris Owusu. It's Owusu on the return. And a flag is down.
Probably a face mask at the end right there, Dick.
So they went to the up man. The deep man was Patton, but Owusu returns it 45 yards. And a flag down after he brings it into Ram territory.
Personal foul, face mask. Number 4, the kicking team. 15 yards added to the end of the play. First down.
So Greg Zerline. So it'll be 60 yards in all for the Buccaneers. Huge advantage here, and they'll get the ball inside the 35.
Welcome back, joined by Derek Brooks, Hall of Famer, witnessing a great defensive battle, something you know a lot about. Honored today in the Ring of Honor. 14 seasons with the same team, rarity nowadays in the NFL. When you look back at your career, so many plays, so many hits. What sticks out the most to you?
Well, I would say everything, but, you know, the Super Bowl championship and what that meant not only for our team, but here in the Bay Area. I would say that what sticks out to most. But I got so many minutes from being drafted with Warren, obviously, to building this franchise from, let's say, not so many wins, but obviously turning to perennial winners. The journey in doing that is what I'm most proud of.
Now, you received your Hall of Fame ring today. I watched you watching the defense on that last series. He was so animated. You helped turn this franchise around. For you, in your eyes, what do you think it'll take to bring the Bucs back to contention?
I think they just got to be patient. You know, obviously, Lovie Smith was a big part of this turnaround here, now being the leader of our franchise. Now he knows the pattern. He's had that success in Chicago. So we just got to be patient and take it one day at a time and understand that even though the comparisons are going to be made, just be comfortable in their own skin and play now. They got to play with patience and understand playing this defense takes time and a great deal of accountability for everybody on that defense. And that's what you just called me staring at, not just looking at guys, just knowing that they got to be accountable to each other. But as long as they do that, they'll be fine.
Thank you so much for your time, Derek, and congrats on the honor. Back up to you, Dick.
All right, Christina, thank you very much. One of the greats, Derek Brooks. Meanwhile, Bobby Rainey runs 18 yards for a first down to the Ram 12-yard line as we wind down to the final minutes here in this third quarter. You look at the score, total yards, rushing, passing yards, first downs, turnovers. They're practically even. They're about as close as this game is. First down, and here's Rainey again, and Rainey's going to be pulled down, and Aaron Donald, the number 1 pick from Pitt, with a terrific play from behind and a 3-yard loss.
Loss of 3.
When you see Jeff Tedford, offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a lot of times you think of college football, former head coach at Cal, spread out offense, throwing the football around. But this is actually an offense that's all about running the football, predicated on spreading you out and running the football. You've seen already Bobby Rainey, a couple runs already through the middle, spreading you out.
Second down and 13. Here's Rainey, and Rainey gets inside the 10. Good story with Jeff Tedford. Returned to calling plays after being out a couple of weeks, had a heart procedure, and watched the first game from a press box. And Marcus Arroyo, the quarterback coach, called the plays. He was not at practice 2 days this week because of previously scheduled doctor's appointment, and he had the clearance to return full time. And now everything will settle down offensively as far as Jeff Tedford calling the plays for the Bucs.
You've seen a better offensive game plan today by the Buccaneers. I know having Tedford back has helped out quarterback Josh McCown.
You saw Rainey over 100 yards. It'll be third down and 7. They go to Rainey again. He gets through 1 and won't get the first down. Will be shy by about 4 yards. And Ogletree and Laurinaitis making the stop, and the final seconds being ticked off. So Bobby Rainey with his third career 100-yard game.
A little conservative right there by Tampa Bay, but you're conservative because you say, we have points. Let's not take a chance.
And that's the end of the third quarter, where the Bucs lead the Rams 14-13. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. And back here, the Rams trail by 1, but Patrick Murray is on to attempt his first NFL field goal try. He's a rookie out of Fordham University. And there is Murray, and it's blocked. Kick is blocked and recovered. And still on his feet is Ray Armstrong. The kick was blocked by T.J. McDonald. And so Patrick Murray, in his first NFL field goal attempt from 24 yards out, has it blocked. And the Rams will take over, and it remains a one-point game with the Bucs in front 10 seconds into this fourth quarter.
I know we're just starting the fourth quarter, but if we have a special teams player of the game, it has to be T.J. McDonald. Scoots right through, blocks the kick. One of the hardest things to do as a wingback on field goal, I've done it before, is try to close off the inside gap, which Stocker doesn't do, allowing McDonald to hop through and block the field goal.
And T.J. McDonald also blocked a punt earlier in the game, so he has now blocked 2 kicks. Let's see how the Rams respond to that play. Special teams performance for the Rams. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 24.
That's definitely what they're talking about on that sideline. You have to close down that inner gap when you block the field goal. And that's not, that time Luke Stocker on the end didn't do that.
Looked like the ball hardly got off the ground.
Yeah. Let's see what St. Louis can do with this drive now. A little bit of momentum coming back. You see Austin Davis hopping around a little bit. He's walking in that huddle with a little more confidence. Let's see how he does on this drive.
The officials had to delay and look at where the spot of the ball was after Ray Armstrong ran it back. So a first down at the 24. And here is a handoff to Zach Stacy. And Stacy picking up 4 yards on first down. So the special teams with a blocked punt, blocked field goal, plus there was an interception as well. So the Rams defense and special teams have them hanging in the game. Keep in mind, by the way, the Rams have lost 12 consecutive road openers, and that's an NFL record, trying to snap that today. 2nd down and 7. Austin Davis, and it's caught by Brian Quick, and Quick will have the first down as he crosses the 35, with Danny Lansana making the play, an 8-yard gain.
The more and more I see Austin Davis, I feel like he's been doing it for a couple years in the NFL. It doesn't look like this is his first career start because he's been confident, he's been poised. But the one thing, when I look at a quarterback, the feet tell me the story. And his feet have told me the story that when he sets and he throws, he puts the ball right where the wide receiver needs it, right on the numbers.
He looked poised even last week when his team was out of this game. He did throw an interception, but his completion percentage is very good. Play action on 1st and 10 for Davis, being flushed from the pocket. Flag is down, and he throws the ball away. And there's 2 flags, one right around the line of scrimmage and one upfield at around the 43.
Looks like one probably on the offense. Sometimes you get that when you get a quarterback bootlegging out. You get a guy just holding on a little bit.
2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 69 of the defense. Also holding, number 21 of the defense. Those penalties offset by rule. Repeat, first down.
So Davin Joseph, the former Buck, holding, and Werner, the cornerback for the Tampa Bay Bucs. They offset, of course.
Davin Joseph, homecoming. The former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I've been in that situation before, playing for a team for a long time, and you're finally returning to play against a team who sort of let you go.
It's emotion.
Yeah, a lot of you, trust me, Dick, a lot of emotion I had playing, when I played the Raiders again after being traded.
Once a radar, always a radar. First down on the 35. And an end around to Kenny Britt. Kenny Britt. And Britt will have a first down. That's the second time that the Rams have used the end around play. Tavon Austin was one. He gets 12 yards, does Britt here. So we're seeing Austin Pettis and Kenny Britt, who were quiet last week, become factors in this game.
Well, remember with Tavon Austin out of this ball game, you still want to keep the end around in your offense. Tavon's out. Who's the next guy? That's Kenny Britt. So you hand the football off. Now you still have that part of the arsenal. You can still keep the defense off their game a little bit because you have something to throw them off.
From the 47. And out of the backfield is Harkey, Corey Harkey, the tight end. And Lansana, the linebacker, knocks him out of play, out of bounds after a gain of 6 yards on the play. How about Austin Davis? Completed 70% of his passes, even in the losing cause last week. And he is 16 for 21 today.
I think the biggest stat that I'm looking at Austin Davis is 8 different guys have touched the football. He's thrown to 8 different wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. Everybody's touched the football.
2nd and 4. Pettis going in motion. And the pass caught for the first down. And it's Brian Quick. And that looked too easy, Kirk.
It almost looked like the other day when we were watching practice in St. Louis a couple weeks ago when they have 7-on-7. And 7-on-7, the ball doesn't touch the ground. You don't want to see the ball touch the ground. How many times have we seen that today? Austin Davis has delivered the ball right where it needs to be. I haven't seen too many balls hit the ground when he sets his feet and throws.
12-yard gain. Remember, this all started with the blocked field goal by McDonald. First down at the 35-yard line. Benny Cunningham. And Cunningham picks up 4 or 5 yards on first down. That's all you want from a running back.
As a quarterback, though, you like what you get from the running game. But then you look at the offensive line and you say, just give me a little time. And I think now they're starting to believe. In the beginning of the game, I talked about its belief of this team that the third-string quarterback going into the year can get it done. And right now, he's showing everybody that he can get it done.
2nd down and 6 from the 31. Austin Davis will be sacked. And that'll be William Golston, who hadn't played. Golston and Daquan Bowers had to be forced into action today with Claiborne and Michael Johnson out. And Golston, bothered by his shoulder, gets the sack, the second of the game.
Right there, just an effort sack by Golston, getting through with being relentless to the football. Golston, like you said, didn't play last week. Has to step up huge with Adrian Claiborne being out. It's Golston's position now. Coming up, making a big play.
So the second sack for the Bucs and a loss of 5. Austin Davis hit 10 times. Sometimes that does more damage than anything. So it's 3rd down and 11. Here's pressure on Davis and the pass and holding on and making the catch is Jared Cook. So Cook with the catch and another, say they're 2 yards short of the first down, an 8-yard pickup here. So it'll be 4th down and 2, and Greg Zuerlein will come on to try the field goal, which would give the Rams the lead.
Brian Schottenheimer talking to his quarterback saying, just a little bit more time. Give Jared Cook a little bit more time. He can take that for a first down.
46-yard field goal attempt by Zuerlein. And the kick is good. 3 for 3 for Greg Zuerlein today, and the Rams with 9:10 to go in the 4th lead it 16-14. We're back here in Tampa. Dick Stockton, Kirk Morrison, and Christina Pink, and Austin Davis in his first NFL start, but not this guy, as Josh McCown has been around for 12 years, and after the Buccaneers led 14-10, Zuerlein has kicked a couple of field goals. Greg Zuerlein with a pair. Meanwhile, his opposite number rookie Patrick Murray has had a field goal blocked. And with 9:10 to go, the Rams are up by 2. Solomon Patton is the deep man. Going to run it out from 8 yards in. and will get knocked out of bounds at the 17 by Rodney McLeod. So Josh McCown, who's only thrown 3 incompletions, comes in now for the Bucs to try to get him ahead. Well, this October history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series, and it all begins October 3rd. This game is as tight as you could get. We've had long drives. We had great special teams, mostly on the part of the Rams. So this is teams, of course, want to come back after embarrassing losses last week.
Yeah, definitely. But if you're Tampa Bay right now, you need to get a score. You need to get the confidence back. You had it early on, but you had a blocked field goal, the interception, those things that can't happen. So right here, get a good drive going. Get the confidence back. I want to see the wide receivers. We got to call Mike Evans' name a little more. Get the tight end more involved. Vincent Jackson, a couple catches early on, but get back to what you've been doing.
And they're going to start from the 18. And there's Vincent Jackson, who has caught a couple of passes today. McCown's first pass, it's a completion out to the 23 to Robert Heron, I should say. Got 5 yards.
They've gotten to this tempo last one to begin this second half, and it's worked, but drives have stalled, and we had the blocked field goal down here last series. I want to continue to see that from this Tampa Bay offense. When they go up-tempo, no huddle, they seem to catch St. Louis off guard.
Well, they got Bobby Rainey, who's gained 106 yards, and they don't have to just pass the ball at this time. They have enough time. Down by only 2 points, but through the air as McCown gets hit, and the pass is incomplete. McDonald closest to it. Pressure that time by Michael Brockers. And we have an injured player, and that is Brockers, who's shaken up for the Rams. We'll take a timeout and return to Tampa in just a moment. So Brockers, shaken up, leaves the game on the sidelines. And it'll be 3rd and 5. Aaron Donald replaces him. Josh McCown under pressure, gets hit as he throws, and the catch is made. Robert Haran with a great catch as Jolon Dunbar. Now they will rule it incomplete. Apparently did not have possession of it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
But roughing the passer,
the defense,
against
15 yards,
Dunbar
automatic first down.
Will give the Buccaneers a first down and 15 yards.
Josh McCown knows he's going to get hit, stands in there, delivers the football right where Haran should catch that. He needs to catch this ball. Doesn't maintain possession all the way through.
No.
Ball comes out.
No. Would have been a great catch had he done it, especially with
But that's the toughness
McCown.
of McCown.
Yep.
I played with him in Oakland, had a chance to practice it with him every day. Remember Vincent Jackson told us the other day at practice, what did he say? Josh McCown is the best athlete on our team.
Yeah,
that's throughout the whole team, not just the quarterbacks. He's the best athlete on the team.
Well, he ran for 5 yards for the touchdowns. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. And the handoff is to Bobby Rainey. Laurinaitis makes the tackle after Rainey picks up 6.
But that's a heartbreaking call if you're the St. Louis Rams. You know, that was a 3rd down play. You're saying we're getting off the field, then you get the 15-yard roughing the passer, and it extends the drive. That's why Jeff Fisher's over there with his hands crossed, because he's upset. He knows his defense is supposed to be over on that sideline.
2nd down and 5. And here's Rainey. Rainey breaking to the outside. Rainey inside the 30-yard line and gets a few extra yards. After stopping for the moment, Brandon McGee shoves him out of bounds. And a gain of 32 yards for Rainey is the longest gain from scrimmage in the game for the Bucs.
One thing I love about Vincent Jackson, the ball's not coming to him, but what does he do? He blocks. And that's one thing that you hate as a defender when you're trying to go make a play, but a wide receiver is blocking you because you don't see him. Hines Ward used to do that to me all the time. I hated it.
Mike James into the game at running back, and James turning the corner gets good yardage here. And James about 2 yards shy of the first down, gets 8 before Hayes brings him down. We have 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
8 of 7.
And the Rams leading the Bucs 16-14.
I mentioned tempo by this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. You see when they get into this tempo, this no huddle, they start moving really fast. The defense hasn't caught up yet.
They go to James. And James picks up a yard. Don't forget, this Tampa Bay offense has rushed for 161 yards today, and that's without Doug Martin, who could not play because of a knee injury. Bobby Rainey has gained 145 yards. Mike James remains in there on 3rd and 2.
One thing I'm saying, Dick, a lot of guys with hands on their hips. You know, getting to this fourth quarter, this heat out here, guys are a little exhausted at the end of the game.
3rd and 2. Here's James, and he's not going to get close as the Rams defense tightens. Eugene Sims. So now it is 4th down, and Patrick Murray, who in his first NFL field goal attempt, the rookie from Fordham, had it blocked, and he's coming out again.
Yeah, you got to kick here. You got to kick here. I would say, hey, probably go for it, but why? I think this is points right here. You get fixed what happened last time. Make sure you guard that inside gap if you're Luke Stockton on the field goal. But I think the field goal is the right choice right here by Lovie Smith.
Well, 24-yarder was blocked. This will be from 36 yards out. Trying to give Tampa Bay the lead again. And there's the kick. It's up and it's good. Well, that'll do a lot for Patrick Murray's confidence. And all of the Tampa Bay players and fans can exhale. 36-yard field goal. Seesaw game with 5:15 to go. And now the Bucs edge in front again by 1. We've been talking about the Rams special teams, and they certainly have done their job with blocking a kick, punt, and a field goal attempt. Turnovers are even, total yards, and you'll see all of the other numbers of the key offensive categories are almost even. And for Austin Davis making his first NFL start, he's completed 18 of 23 to 8 different receivers. And Bobby Rainey with 144 yards. 3rd time in his career he's gone over 100 yards in a game. So Davis about ready to go back to work. Chris Gibbons running up. Bobbles it. Feels it at the 1. Gibbons trying to turn the corner, and a terrific special teams play inside the 10-yard line by Russell Shepard, number 89. 5:08 to go. Rams will have the ball on their own 9, and the fans are vocal here in Tampa, Kirk Morrison.
No, this is the part of the game, Dick, that I get excited about. I remember as a player on defense, I need the crowd into it. I got my hands in the air because the crowd can affect the play calling down here with the St. Louis Rams close to that end zone.
Austin Davis backed up to the 1, and he completes the pass for 8 or 9 yards to Jared Cook. You can see why Cook was the leading receiver for this team as a tight end last year and scored 5 touchdowns. Very smooth he is as he gets 9.
But you see Brian Schottenheimer trusts Austin Davis. Backed up deep near his own end zone, you trust him that he's going to go back and deliver the football. That's trust by an offensive coordinator right there.
2nd and 1. Each team has all 3 of its timeouts left. Play action. Davis will have time, and he's going to take a shot down here. And the pass is tipped away, almost caught by Brian Quick and Jonathan Banks on the coverage. Remember, Banks starting for Mike Jenkins, who was out. And very nearly did Austin Davis hit Brian Quick on that pass.
Brian Quick's got to catch that football, Dick. No doubt about it. He's got to catch that football. He goes up at its highest point. Got to make that play right off the face mask. You got to make that play. Got to make that play.
And injured player.
Put the play clock back to 26 seconds. 26 seconds on the play.
It's an injured Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Banks on the coverage. Not sure who the injured player is. And we'll wait till we know for sure. Take a timeout. Deshaun Golson was hurt. Major Wright, the ex-Bear, replaces him. So now they took a shot on 2nd and 1. It's now 3rd and 1, Kirk.
Got to help your quarterback out, though. If you're Brian Quick, you got to make that catch. But right now, you're in a situation, it's 3rd and 1. You need the drive to extend. How do you extend this drive? Do you run the football or you put it in your quarterback's hands?
Well, what do you do?
I think you roll Austin Davis out. You keep him on the run. Give him a run-pass option where he either can throw the football or run it for a first down.
Of course, you always have Zach Stacy. 3rd down and 1. See what Brian Schottenheimer has in store. Play action, you're right. You're going to move him around, and the pass is going to be caught for the first down by Lance Kendricks. So I'll tell you what, Austin Davis has been magnificent against tremendous pressure all day, and that was good for 13.
I like the call here. The bootleg. Fake it to the Zach Stacy. Set up Austin Davis so he has time to read the defense and put the ball right on the numbers, right to Lance Kendricks. Great call, but an even bigger play by Austin Davis.
First down at the 31 now. Bucs lead by 1. And the pitch to Stacy. Stacy cutting upfield, runs into his own man, blocking in front of him, and has to settle for a 1-yard gain.
This Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, they have to stiffen up. They have to make sure they communicate. You know, Mason Foster's out. Gerald McCoy's out. Adrian Claiborne's out. Michael Johnson's out. Solomon's a guy who missed time this week.
What kind of communication do they do here?
They got to make sure that they're in the right gaps. Make sure they're sound in coverage. These are situations where Deshaun Golson, now back in the football game, can help out the back end.
2nd down and 9. Davis has time. Pass is caught close to midfield. Another big catch. Brian Quick with a 16-yard gain. And Quick with his 7th catch of the game. Leslie Frazier, who is the defensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, first season there, was the Vikings head coach. But now a first down at the 47 following the 15-yard pickup. Rams only needing a field goal to regain the lead with 2.5 to play in the 4th. From the 47, Zach Stacy. I'll tell you, Tampa Bay doing a good job on Stacy now, with Levante David coming on to make the play. Clock running as we get close to the 2-minute warning.
Just watching Austin Davis, you look at him, he's calm. Walking to the huddle, walking to his coaches.
2-minute warning here in Tampa. Rams are moving the ball, trailing by 1. Who will break out and come back and win this one? What is Lovie Smith's defense going to do? We have our 2-minute warning. Each team has all 3 timeouts remaining. In case you're wondering, Rams would have to get it to the 32 for Zerline to attempt a 50-yard field goal. It's 2nd down and 9, and this pass overthrown Kendricks. And that will bring up 3rd down and 9. Now, Zerline's career long is 60 yards, but when you look at this turf with the rain and the storms that we had, and the footing for the plant foot, you really wonder whether that's going to be a wise decision if it comes to that.
I think you look at, you have 3 timeouts left. You try to get the first down here, if not, punt them deep in their end zone and say, my defense has played well. We've got sacks, we've blocked field goals, we've blocked punts. Try to get it here, if not, punt it down deep in their end zone.
3rd down and 9. Davis's pass, and caught by Austin Pettis. Austin Pettis, shut out in last week's game against the Vikings, goes up with 2 defenders and times it perfectly in a 27-yard gain.
You talk about guts. This is what guts is right here. Quarterback knowing he's going to get hit, releases the football. Austin Pettis, a guy who Sean Hill last week said a savvy vet for a guy who's only been in the league for a couple of years. He's a savvy vet. And after the play, Austin Davis looking at the sideline, looking at Brian Schottenheimer, said, keep giving me the play. Keep giving me the play. I'm going to come through for you, coach.
Well, tell you what, Pettis did, and Daquan Bowers was the defensive lineman that very nearly got to Austin Davis. Timeout called by the Rams. Next week, Fox NFL Sunday returns as the Packers take on the Lions. The 49ers square off against the Cardinals for other regional action. It all starts with the Fox NFL Kickoff Show at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, followed by Fox NFL Sunday at noon Eastern on Fox. The Buccaneers called timeout. They have 2 remaining. It's a first down for the Rams now at the 25. Benny Cunningham picking up a couple of yards on first down, and another timeout called by Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, their second. Their 30-second timeout.
Remember, the Rams just trying to get it in range to try a field goal here, and the Buccaneers want to make sure they have enough time in case they do get the field goal to mount a field goal that could win the game. So here are these 2 teams that lost at home last week.
Yes.
Games they'd like to forget, lost at home, and now the Rams not only trying to break a 12-game road opener losing streak, but, win the game and get back in the good graces.
But you put the ball in your quarterback's hands. You're trusting in him and you're believing in him. He's got you set up for a big play.
Second down and 8, Zach Stacy, and he is dragged down. Forward progress. Clinton McDonald was there, and no gain. There is Greg Zerline. And a timeout has been called by Tampa Bay, and so they are out of timeouts now. So 1:28 to go. You're definitely within Greg Zerline's range right now.
Yeah, definitely. Probably going to hand the football off to Zach Stacy or Benny Cunningham, either running back. Because right now you've seen the drive that Austin Davis has constructed. He's thrown the football to Austin Pettis. He's ran the football to Benny Cunningham. But then when you look at that offensive line, they've dominated this drive. When you need the offensive line the most, you dominate on a drive in a 2-minute drill.
That's a great point. They certainly have. And, of course, you had a feeling the way this game was going that the team that scored last is going to win the game. 3rd down and 8. And here is Zach Stacy. And they're just setting it up for Greg Zerline now. It'll be 4th down. Zerline is 3 for 3 today. He has made kicks from 35, 36, and 46 yards. So with the clock running and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of timeouts, trying to give the Rams the lead, and barring a great return would be hard to extinguish. And finally, a timeout called by the Rams. Why does Jeff Fisher call a timeout here?
Let all the time go out. Let the time go all the way down. Use that play clock. Give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the least amount of time possible. They have 0 timeouts. So when the Buccaneers, when they get the ball back, they know that if a defense, now the St. Louis Rams defense knows when Tampa gets the ball back, everything has to be toward the out-of-bounds line, toward the sideline, because they have no timeouts to keep the clock from keeping timeouts being called.
But, of course, right now the Bucs still have their 1-point lead, and a 38-yard field goal try coming up. Well, Jeff Fisher's team lose Sam Bradford. And then Chris Long goes down. Tavon Austin gets hurt in this game. Sean Hill couldn't go. Down to their 3rd quarterback, Austin Davis, who's been magnificent. So here it is, 38-yard attempt by Zerline. And Greg Zerline's kick is good. And the Rams have regained the lead, 19-17 with 38 seconds remaining. And look at the emotion on the face of Austin Davis, coming in with 22 of 29 completions, 235 yards, and as you pointed out, 8 different receivers have caught passes from Davis today.
I think we always cheer for the underdog, right? Right, Dick? This is an underdog story. A former walk-on at Southern Miss, a guy who's broken numerous of Brett Favre's records down at Southern Miss, And he talked about it. He talked about just when I get my opportunity, I want to be my best. He said he learned that from his dad. And he's out here showing us today what you do when you get your opportunity. You play at your best.
And we saw what Brett Favre did coming out of Southern Mississippi, so you can be a top-notch quarterback coming out of some small schools as we've seen. And Zerline, of course, giving the Rams the lead 4 for 4 in field goals today. 38 seconds to go. So the Rams looking to break that 12-game consecutive road opener losing streak. Solomon Patton is deep. And he's going to let it bounce out, and the Bucs will take it out on the 20-yard line with no timeouts remaining. The last Ram quarterback to win his first career start was Scott Covington against the San Francisco 49ers on December the 30th, 2002.
That's a long time, Dick. Long time, but you see that smile on his face. That's a guy that says, I got the job done today. Now I just needs a defense to finish it off.
And I believe it's the first time since 1991, if the Rams do win, that an undrafted free agent quarterback starts the first 2 games of the season. First down. Pound completes the pass to Bobby Rainey. Can't stop the clock. And nowhere near getting out of bounds to the 39-yard line. Under a half a minute to go. 18-yard play. Remember, the Buccaneers only need to get it in field goal range. They stop the clock with 20 seconds to go. It'll be second down and 10.
You still got time here. If you're Josh McCown, start trying to work the sideline a little bit. Try to work the sideline because you don't have the timeouts. And if you're St. Louis on defense, keep everything in front of you. Everything in front of you.
But again, with 20 seconds to go, you get enough yardage with a pass down the middle in front of you, and the hurry up in the clock. They can get another play or 2 off. And here's McCown stepping up, and he drills it. And the pass is caught by Mike Evans. And T.J. McDonald on the hit, and Evans is shaken off. And if this is an injury timeout, and you can see they're getting him off, they don't want to call a timeout, otherwise we would have a 10-second runoff.
The offense is out of timeouts. We have an injured player under play, and they are out of timeouts. It requires a 10-second runoff. The game is over.
And that's it, a 10-second runoff. What a way for Lovie Smith to have this game end when the Buccaneers, if they had a few more seconds, might have been able to get in field goal range. Instead, the St. Louis Rams end their 12-game losing road opener streak, beating the Tampa Bay Bucs 19-17. We'll be back here in just a moment.